something that can be said about the editing process. Thank God, in case anything does go wrong, I can do that. Welcome back to the Dogs of Gotham, ladies and gentlemen. I am, of course, Detective Rand, and with me is my partner, Detective Garrett, and our partner, Detective Marshall. And today we bring to you the man that has helped one of our videos go viral. I told you I was going to try to get him back on the show. My pleasure to bring you the Red Hood.
Hey everybody.
Jason, it's great to have you here, man. I tell everybody the story about how we met. You know, how you came into Yester Toys with your 66 Batman collection, which is just about gone, by the way.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, it went fast. Believe me, I was sitting there. Batman and Robin are no longer on the case. I think Alfred is the only one still left in there. I mean, dude, it hurt me to
That's
see you,
crazy.
bring it in there like that and, have to sell it, but I totally understand. But being able to watch your production, and it's on YouTube, and I'm going to have the link for any of you guys who want to check this out. And I'm telling you, you will not be sorry. It is a great production piece. Um, you can find him here at JEC Productions and go through the videos. I want you to actually go through some of these videos because they were, I believe this is your latest.
That's correct. Yep.
Uh, I got a taste of it before I had to go do some stuff, but I love what you're doing. How
Thank
did you
you.
get started in this, man?
Um. Well, let me think. How did I start liking Batman or getting into filmmaking?
You're muted.
I pulled a Calibus. How did you start with Batman, and then take us into that journey of where it transitioned into you wanting to do film?
For sure. So when I was younger, my dad introduced me and my brother to the Batman animated series, and he owned the complete series on DVD, and he would show it to us on an Apple laptop in his room with the lights turned off, so it was like our own personal movie theater. And I quickly, fell in love with Batman and the Batman lore. And then, fast forward a few years later, and my dad started this idea of making short films with me and my brother as Batman and Robin. And so the first one's on YouTube right now, which I can send to y'all later. But we did a second one where my brother played Joker and I was Jason Todd Robin. Sadly, we filmed it outside and we didn't have any mics, so all you could hear was the wind howling, and we couldn't release that one. But I had a lot of fun doing those two with my dad and my brother. And so when the the mic problem happened, my dad kind of hung it up, didn't think about doing it again. But I still wanted to do it. So my brother wrote this one idea about Penguin and stuff like that, but we weren't able to make it because my dad was busy with work and whatever. But then I got an idea. I was like, I love Red Hood. I love Jason Todd. I played Jason Todd Robin in the Joker one that we did. So I was like, maybe I could do like a 3-part short film trilogy. And it was going to be like really basic. And this was when I was like a teenager. So this is a while ago. But I was thinking, we could start with Jason becoming Robin, doing a death in the family, and then doing Under the Red Hood, but being like super basic, not going into super, complicated details like the comics did, stuff like that. Sadly, I wasn't able to do that. So then, fast forward many years later, when the CW started doing the Arrowverse, and there was this episode when Roy Harper showed up. If it wasn't the last season, it was the one before that of Arrow, and he came back, and he had died, and they brought him back through the Lazarus pit, and he had bloodlust. He went, I think he killed a cop or something. I can't remember, but through that episode spawned off this idea of mine to do fan fiction in the Arrowverse for Red Hood, and I was hoping to, send it all to Jensen Ackles, see what he thought if he wanted to play Red Hood. Pipe dream, super unrealistic. That never happened. So I was like, well, I know how I'm writing for Red Hood, and I couldn't think I could find an actor that could, portray him the way that I wrote him. So I was like, well, let's just put it on the back burner. Let me get into filmmaking. Let me start doing a short film. My first short film's on YouTube. And so that was fun. Through that, I met a bunch of people. And through that, I was able to take the thing that was cooking on the back burner and actually make it into what it is today.
Man,
That's actually really cool.
yeah, I went to school for filmmaking, but my college professor kind of dashed my dreams when he goes, "Well, you'll start off as a cameraman." What? No, that's not what
That's
I
messed
wanted.
up.
No. Yeah, I mean, I'll never forget it. When he told me that. So I turned to book writing, but meeting up with these two gentlemen, we've started doing a lot of different things. Big L brought us in as the Court of Owls, and then I was
Nice.
like, I want to do Azrael. So I had a friend of mine out in California make me the Azrael
Whoa. That is
blade,
so cool.
right?
Yeah.
So I got
Wow.
this. Big L's going to help me with the burning of the, because the costume's got to be, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be dingy. It's got to be burnt. It's got to, it's got to go through the fire and all that other
We
stuff.
have a plan.
But meeting you and talking to you about all that was just, it was just incredible. And I was like, look, I got this show. I need you to come on the show. We took Marky Mark, who was our Metropolis agent for a while, and then we're like, no, you need to come on over here to Gotham. You need to you need to come over here.
You need to move
Um,
presidency.
yeah,
Yeah.
but guys, before I take up all of his time, because I'm loading questions as we speak. Does anybody want to
I
ask
got
Jason
you. I
anything?
got you. So,
Okay.
Jason,
Yes, sir.
you talked about Batman the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, one of my all time favorite animated series, in Batman. I actually own a first print edition of Batman the animated series comic book. A number
Whoa.
one, first print edition. It is locked in a case. It does not get brought out for display or anything like that. It is my pride and joy. So to hear you say that was wonderful. I too have a pretty extensive collection of Batman 66 memorabilia and what have you. Um, I love the Red Hood.
Oh,
Red
yes.
Hood is by far my anti-hero, type of thing. And if you get to know me, you'll find out that I'm more the heel, if you will. I portray towards. I like to go towards the villain side of things. My wife is diehard in the Joker. In
Yeah.
fact, anything in our house, Detective Rain will tell you everything is Batman and Joker. It's kind of the best of both worlds. Um, Red Hood itself, we know the tragic story. We know how he was Jason Todd. He was Robin, and got beat up by Joker. Went to the Lazarus Pit, come out with a bloodlust. Of course, you were talking about Roy Harper, played by Colton Haynes, and all of that. So I love the fact you brought that up. My
Yes.
question is, how do you see Red Hood getting back into the Bat family? What would you want that to look like versus what we've seen in comic books or in the animated series now, where he's kind of almost welcome back, but still kind of held at arm's length? What would you want to see of Jason being brought back into the Bat family?
That's a good question and a very tough question. So let me think. Well, what I'll say is how they did webtoons and how they brought him back into the Bat family was pretty awesome. Um, I'm trying to. It's hard to answer without saying spoilers, actually. But what I'll say is there's stuff that Jason goes through We have a two season story arc, and each season is 7 episodes. And so we are almost halfway done with season one. But I will say that season one is very surface level, very inspired by Scott Lobdell's run of Red Hood from New 52 to post Rebirth. In fact, he's one of our biggest supporters. Scott Lobdell watches our show, and he's a huge fan of it. And he said that he's very proud of what we're doing, which is just awesome. But I
Good to
will
hear.
say that, what do you say?
That's good to hear.
Oh, thank you. I was freaking out. It's very surreal, honestly. Once that happened, I was like, I'm going to stop checking our view count. I don't care anymore. He watches it now. That's all that matters. But to answer your question, what I will say is season two is not surface. It goes stupid deep into Jason's healing journey as not just healing from the Lazarus pit, but there's a 2-year time jump between the two seasons. So at this point, the Lazarus pit stuff is long since in the past. Nothing he has to worry about anymore. But what he's dealing with now is the anger towards Bruce that he let him die and that he refuses to kill Joker. So it's a cross that Jason has to bear every day about that. And he wants to be a part of the Bat family. So what I will say without spoiling anything is that by the end of season 2, he has fully accepted back into the Bat family as one of their own. They don't look at him as an outcast, and they kind of overlook his need for killing. Because in my stuff, it's not so much that he wants to kill anymore. During season 2, he goes through something pretty traumatic, even more than what happened, with Joker. And he's realizing that what he's been doing for all these years as Red Hood was not okay. It's not good. He's having regrets for killing people because he's realized through his healing journey of going through what happened with his parents, like Sheila Haywood and Willis Todd and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff still, weighs heavy on him every day. He has nightmares over it. And so his journey of healing through that makes him realize, well, he lost his parents. And so he realized something in my show is like, once he kills somebody, he is taking a child's parent away. And he can't, that's literally what he went through. And he's like, I can't do that. I can't keep doing that. And so he realizes, I actually wrote a scene last night of him. Jason talks to Ben Turner, who's his best friend and mentor in my show. And he is saying, I won't get the words correct. It was very late last night when I wrote it, but pretty much that he's tired of killing people. He's feeling all this regret, but to him, he's been doing it for so long, and he was trained in my show by Slade Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And so Slade programmed him to be a Terminator, to be a killing machine. And so that's all he's known for a very long time. And he's trying to slowly undo the programming so he doesn't feel the urge to kill people. And through that, he's having all these, regrets and feeling remorse and realizing that when Bruce said to him when they first had their interaction in my first movie that he is not a killer. In season 2, 2 years after that, he says to Ben, he's realizing that he used to always think that he was better than Bruce, that Jason himself is better than Bruce, but he realizes that he's not. Bruce trained him not to kill, and he's been doing that for almost a decade. And he's like, I'm not better than Bruce. And so once Jason realizes that, he starts to heal. And once he fully heals, he goes to the Bat family. They accept him with open arms. And yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does, and I appreciate the in-depth, candid that you gave us there. Now, shamelessly, I will say, I do portray the Grand Owl in our
That's
Court
awesome.
of Owls, type of scenario, or whatever. I know traditionally you don't see a lot of Red Hood and the Court of Owls kind of interacting.
Yeah.
Do you think possibly somewhere down the line we could see a web series that the Red Hood and a Talon, or maybe the Red Hood starts going after the Court of Owls?
For sure, yeah. I will say without spoiling anything, because season 2 is full of like my own original storyline and everything. But I will say that there are hints of Court of Owls in season 2 that sets up a bigger storyline that I've told Detective Rand about. That I'm very excited about. It is tight lipped though. But yeah, I will say we will see something like that in the future for sure.
I'm looking forward to it because I'm a very big Court of Owls, lore. I guess that's why I guess I'm the Grand Owl because I love that lore. I love, the aspect of it. I think I've just about memorized the entire opening monologue
Yeah.
for the Court of Owls. But I will save my time for now. Marshall, Detective Marshall, what have you got, sir?
All right, so my question is just a little bit different. My introduction to the Red Hood was the Under the Red Hood movie that they made, animated movie, and I absolutely fell in love with that character. And then they did Death in the Family, which you get to choose, just like you did, what, 40, 50 years ago, whether or not Jason Todd lives. If Jason Todd lives, something else may happen, or, if, Batman will go out if, whatever he did. So I absolutely love that part of Jason Todd's character. But my question is, we had one live action Jason Todd on Titans when that aired on, I think that was on TNT. And we
Mhm.
had Curran Walters playing Robin or Jason Todd. And then they did do that Red Hood little story arc. I think that was what, season 5 or 6. And I just wanted to get your thought on what you thought about that portrayal of the character from that point compared to whatever came before that.
Right. That's a good question. I will say that Curran Walters is a fantastic actor. He's really awesome. I follow him very closely, hoping that he watches our show one day. That'd be pretty cool. But what I will say is, I think the best thing they did with his storyline in that show was pair him with Rose Wilson. I think that was really cool. We don't get a lot of that in the comics anymore. That was something that they did forever ago when Jason Todd was. I think it was when Jason Todd joined the Teen Titans as Red Hood. I'm not actually sure. I have to look into that one a little more, but I thought it was cool because nowadays it's Red Hood with Essence or Red Hood with Artemis, which is cool. I do have all three of those characters in my show, but I think they the introduction to Red Hood and Titans was very clever. It was very much very. I mean, honestly, certain scenes were ripped out of the end of the Red Hood comic, which is really cool. Like the all the thugs meeting in the what's it called, the warehouse, and he throws the bag with the severed heads. That was amazing to watch in real life. But yeah, no, I liked their version of Red Hood in that. It was really cool. The suit was awesome. I think the best part of the suit was the helmet. It was pretty dope.
Okay, thank you. I
Yes, sir.
absolutely love the outfit as well, and I did think Curran did a great job at the role. I know they kind of rushed it because he was Robin for maybe what 4 or 5 episodes, then he was killed, and then he was Red Hood for a season, and then they really, I wish they had more time to develop it instead of the way they did that. But I know a TV show, they were just trying to give you everything at one time. So
Oh
that
yeah.
would have been my only problem with that show. Detective Rand, what do you got?
So, costuming. As now I'm well versed in trying to do these cosplays and now trying to create one on my own with, you know, how do you get your costumes? Because I don't know if I can bring it up. I'm gonna try to bring it up. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I can. Hold on. Now, this is a good scene too.
Yeah, that was a good scene. I just watched that a
Hold
little
on.
while
All
ago.
right.
Did you? This is a
Yeah.
really good scene. Um, Now YouTube, of course, is going to flag me, so I can only do so much. There it is. That's go back, go back, go back, go back, go back,
That
come
scene
on.
took us a whole year to actually be
There.
able to film.
Oh well, what's the story behind that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, really, why was it so
I
long?
knew that was gonna happen. So I I actually wrote all of season one during the pandemic, pretty much. I mean, the first version anyway. Went through a bunch of rewrites between now and then, but I wrote this Carmine Falcone scene, and I was like, man, this is just so awesome. And it, coincidentally enough, at that point, I hadn't even written season two, but it actually sets the stage up for season two, which is just crazy. But the reason it took so long is because I couldn't actually find actors that were willing to play these characters. I was on Backstage. I was on all these acting pages on Facebook. Nobody seemed to care about some fan made record show or wanting to play Carmine Falcone after what the amazing guy that we got in the Batman. People just didn't
Mm,
want to try and take his spotlight. But I found this guy. He lives in West Virginia. He is amazing. He has a country twang in real life, but I told him I was like Godfather, and I had him watch the Long Halloween animated movies. I was like, try and replicate that. He was like, done. I started filming that scene with him. I was blown away. It's like, this guy is amazing. But that's why it took so long, yeah.
Wow.
oh wow.
That's
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
thank you.
So how'd you come up with your design for the Red Hood? I mean, obviously the the costume is it, but your helmet. How
Yes.
did you settle on that? I've got oh there it is way over there. I've got my other one that I got which was foam,
Oh, yeah.
and I was just wondering how did you get your helmet?
Yeah, so that's actually, it's kind of a funny story. So before I started getting into filmmaking, I wanted to just cosplay as Red Hood. I'd never been to a Comic Con before. And so my dad was looking, and he found this website that offered 3D printed files for free. And so he's like, well, here's a good Red Hood helmet. I can't find any others that are free. And at that time, I didn't really have a lot of money to spend on my first cosplay. And so I was like, that's pretty cool. And so my dad, he got it printed. He took months and months and months to sand it down because it was one of the printer that printed it out was one of the like very original 3D printers. So it was one of those you get this grain, and it's not like the you know I don't remember what they're called now, but the filament was just the basic filament back then. So you had to sand the thing like crazy, and that's what my dad did. And we painted it the first time around with just this matte bright red, and it looked very weird. It looked very comic booky, but it didn't really go well with the shirt that I had. And so we tried automotive paint, and so we got that, and it looked amazing. Unfortunately, that only lasted. I mean, it was that color for many years, from my first cosplay to literally just a couple months ago when I actually filmed my series finale of the Red Hood show, and I was hugging the actor that played Alfred. I was holding the helmet. The helmet got caught in his shirt. We were outside, and it fell on parking lot asphalt. It shattered, and so my dad and I had to fix it, and I had to repaint it. So how it looks in the Carmine Falcone scene is actually the most recent paint job, and I kind of wish it would have looked like that always because it has a very, arcane and what if cartoony paint job to it with the almost cell shading. It's pretty cool, but yeah, that's how I settled on the design of the helmet that I went with. It was just a basic helmet. I feel pretty confident somebody just modified an Iron Man helmet and said it was Red Hood because it's very elongated. It has the very contoured cheekbones that I've never seen a Red Hood helmet look like. But since it was really thick filament, and my dad actually drilled holes in the side so I could hear and people could hear me, and he actually made them look kind of robotic. So it makes it to where my Red Hood helmet's actually one of a kind because it's not like anything we've seen before. Sadly, it's not something I designed. I kind of wish it was, but then with the shirt, I just took this like long sleeve hooded compression shirt, and I went to a screen printing place and they just printed me the logo, and that was pretty much it. Then my brother was kind enough to let me use his, I think it was Force Awakens Old Man Han Solo jacket. So that's the costume.
That's pretty tight.
That's interesting.
I had this one shipped over,
Oh man, that's really cool.
but it's foamed, and now they got them where the eyes light up and everything else. But I mean,
Oh yeah.
but this was the one that I had. When I saw yours, I was like, man, what? That doesn't look like. I was like, man. But costuming and getting your actors. How long? I mean, I know we're running low on time, but before we go, how long does it take you normally to shoot a scene?
Oh man. So I will tell you, I'll try to keep it under like just a few minutes because I could talk a whole day about this actually. But when I started filmmaking was like literally just months after the pandemic ended. And so we were newly getting into filmmaking. My production company had just launched. And back then, it would take us like a whole day just to film one scene. And it was very embarrassing because those actors I'd never met before, it was the first time I'd met them for this project we were doing that never saw the light of day. But now, thankfully, we can actually film about, I'll keep it generous. I'll say 3 to 5 scenes in just a day's time, pretty much 12-hour shoot. But for like the Carmine scene, we took a lunch break. I mean, we took several breaks just to talk and get to know each other. So that was 5 to 6 hours for just a Carmine scene, I want to say. But that was a lot of just talking, like what we're doing now. But if we're always on track and we're doing a pretty short scene, or I mean, it'll vary how long the scene is, but if everybody's on track, it won't be that long, thankfully. But if we're outside, like I just filmed the fight scene in that latest episode, towards the end when those two guys take on Red Hood and take him to see Black Mask, we just filmed that just 2 or 3 weekends ago, and it was 20 degrees outside when the sun was down. Man, I'll tell you, it was awful. My hands were bright pink, and my helmet ended up breaking again, and it was it was awful.
Wow. Well, look,
Yeah.
I don't want you to think that this is like the last time we want you on the show because we love this stuff. I mean,
Thank you.
having you here is just is a great honor for us to have
Well, that's an
a
honor to
filmmaker
me.
on the
Like I
show.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh man, I mean, like you, we could talk this stuff for hours, but we try to keep every show under 30 minutes. But I can tell you this. Not only will this show be airing tomorrow, which is going to be Thursday, no, Wednesday. It'll be Wednesday around 6 o'clock. We'll also have a podcast. The Deep Dive crew will also talk about you and your production company and everything that you're doing because we like to honor those who are going out there who loves the Batman universe and definitely, man. I'll put the link up there so people can hit the link and then go to your page and check you guys check out what you guys got because I love the fact that you brought Braun Tiger back in and you don't what I mean, because everybody sleeps on Braun Tiger and I keep telling everybody he's the only DC character that can consistently beat Batman. Consistently. Not every time, but consistently beat Batman. So when I saw him go up against Arrow, I was like, this shouldn't take that long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because Arrow is not in the same league as Batman when it comes to hand-to-hand fighting. You know what I mean?
Definitely not, yeah.
And I was just like, And I saw it, I was like, man, they just punked him out. So I was watching your stuff, man, and I love the guy that plays him.
That's my best friend, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
so,
he is.
You never know. Anytime that you want to bring some of your friends over to do a show, we would love to have you.
100%.
Thank you so much. I'll definitely let him know. I'll extend the invite for sure.
Please do, because I would love to, talk with him and you together.
Me too.
All of us getting on and just, going through this. I mean, one time we'll have to do it live so we don't have no time restraints.
Yes.
and
For
just
sure.
let it run. But I'm hoping that you'll come back again.
Oh, I will. I will
Okay, great.
definitely.
Because this has been, I mean, man, you've given us so much, and I'm so excited because, like I said, Big L kind of really kind of pushed us out there. Detective Garrett has pushed us out there into doing the cosplays. We did the Court of Owls at HTC, and now we're going to go back and do the Joker gang. But I'm going to probably debut that Red Hood. I mean, my Arkham Knight Azrael there as soon as I get all my other pieces. But it was a blast having you here, man, and I cannot say enough. Thank you very much. Come stop by the shop.
Definitely.
I'll hook you up when you get there. You
You
know
do
what I mean?
always. Yep. I appreciate
So,
it.
but again, guys, anything you want to tell them, man, before we leave?
I just want to say this was an honor and a blessing to get to especially talk Red Hood. Again, one of my favorite anti-villain or anti-heroes. I'm very thankful for that. I have had a chance to meet Kern Walters face to face.
Wow.
I've gotten to sit and talk with him for quite a good amount of time. My wife and myself got to talk to him. My wife actually cosplays as a female Joker. She
Nice.
made her entire costume, and Detective Rand can tell you it's a pretty extensive costume. It's
Yeah,
and he got a chance to see it in pictures and was really impressed with it. And so the fact that you say he's actually a really good guy. He is in real life person. In real life, he's a really like down to earth person to talk to. So I love the fact that he's thankful for everything that's been given to him. So, but Jason, thank you for come up and doing this with us. It is fitting that your name is Jason. Of course, Jason Todd. That is very fitting. So
Yes, sir.
the irony is not betwixt on me. Uh, but yeah, thanks, man. We really appreciate you being here. And like Rand said, it will not be the last time. And the more people you want to bring into it, we can extend the show a little bit longer. We can
definitely.
give. We've actually had Chancellor JG Hertzler
Yeah.
from Star Trek, and that show has gone way long.
2 hours.
Yeah,
Two
I
hours.
believe that.
You,
Two
but you
hours.
got to let the chancellor go because
yeah.
He can
So,
talk.
so
For sure.
we have no problems of giving you the forum to bring your stuff to light.
yeah,
Just let us know
definitely.
when, and we can adjust our schedules to make sure that it gets done.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Detective Marshall, sir, close us out.
All right. Yeah, Jason, I also want to thank you. You answered a few of my questions that I had about Jason Todd as well. Um, absolutely thankful for having you on the show. Can't wait to have you back again with us whenever you do have some free time. We're always available. We will make time, like Big L just said, we'll make time that we can get you back on the show. This was fantastic to hear you talk about the Red Hood this way, because, like I said, the only parts that I've had of him was what I've seen in the movies and what, coming back to it. But he is a fantastic character. I love watching what he does, which it's going to be great to see your little show, your series as well, so that we can see what you bring to that character, besides what I've seen in other things. So thank you for everything that you have done so far. Dr. Rand, you want to take us out?
Yeah. All right, guys, we're closing the file on this one, but it is not a cold case. It is a file that we'll keep on our desks because we want to thumb through it and bring back Jason, and hopefully he'll bring back some friends and just keep this going. But I encourage you to go to the to YouTube, check it out. The link will be in this video description below. So it is time for us to go. Wasn't there a saying that we used to say?
Stay safe out there, everyone, because if you're not looking around, remember, we're always watching.